Hello guys and welcome to another video on my channel. In this video I'm going to show you the lap time challenge of the new combo, which is at the Marina circuit, and we are using the new Renault Espace F1 car. The absolute mad car that is. As you can see, 799 horsepower, 1300 kg, so it's very powerful and not too heavy considering what the car looks like and that as well. But anyway, as you can see, current leader is Kai Racer, 147.491. As you can see, my time here is 147.590, just about a tenth off him, and that's good enough for current P3 in the world at the time recording at 4:11 PM my time. So as you can see, 10th off Kai, 3 tenths ahead of Somi behind me, so my lap's very good. I think there is a couple tenths in it though for me still, so I reckon the top time will go down to even a 0.1 or 0.0 if I were to guess. So I reckon the gold estimate for this will be around a 150.2. That should be good enough for gold for sure. But anyway, car settings, as you can see with the power graph, a lot of torque and a lot of power in the early revs. But even though it's got a lot of power in early revs, you still want to rev it a bit. I do find it better to rev it to the end of a bar still. But anyway, now I'm going to show you the fastest lap I've done, followed by a detailed lap afterwards. So I hope you enjoy. A like and a sub would be appreciated as always. See you for my detailed lap after my fastest lap. Cheers. Right, so I hope you enjoyed the fastest lap I've just shown you. Now I'm going to show you how I did that relatively difficult lap to pull off. But I'll say the key word for this is curb usage. Reason for that is because I found you had to be very specific on the amount of curbs you use, because if you did it slightly incorrectly, your car could bounce, or you just wouldn't have the grip to take the corners fast. So I'll go more about that in a minute when there's actual curb usage. But anyway, start lap, I'm aiming to be about 60 mile an hour on the last corner apex, and as soon as I get to the apex, I'm starting to put the throttle down gently, that is. Initially I start with about 30%, just so the power does go up, not the power, the speed does go up, while also not having wheel spin and carrying a little bit of downforce, so I can carry a bit more speed during the corner. And then because I'm carrying more speed, I can put the power down quicker, since I am further away from the massive initial torque this car has. So, like I said, start up around 60 mile an hour, start about 30% throttle, then go 100%, corner, right here, I literally brake literally just after the 150 marker. And when I say just after, I mean maybe a quarter of a car length after it. That is whereabouts I'm braking for turn 1. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be braking in a straight line. As soon as I go down to second gear, I'm going to start to turn left. And I'm aiming to have my left wheels go inside the little orange curb. If not, just have my left wheels just touch the curb without touching the big part of the orange curb. I'll pause it on the apex so you can see more clearly. But I was aiming to be about 68, 69, 70 mile an hour for the first apex speed here. So I'm going to pause it here. Aim to have your left wheels inside this part of the orange curb if you can help it. It is slightly faster. However, if you feel like you've gone a touch deep like I have on this particular lap, aim to have your left tyre as close to this orange curb as possible without touching it, just to help your car drag around the corner. And yeah, exit in third gear and be a bit careful initially on the throttle, but you can put the power quite quickly down in this car, I find, especially on racing soft tyres. Next corner, just a little lift. I basically turned as soon as I see the grey silver track mark veer off to the left. I basically lined up my turning with that point, and that basically did it for me. And I was aiming for second apex to be about 108 mile an hour. Here, don't go fully to the right because you need to have some angle for this next corner. I like to have about 50% to the left, 50% to the right, just to keep my angle open for this next part of the corner. In my opinion, a very difficult corner to do very well at. But basically, my reference for it is... sorry. Right, here. Oh, sorry. You see this bit here? I basically, as soon as I get on past it, I'd say about half a second after it, that is when I started to do small tap of the brakes and turn right. I will be downshifting to second for engine braking and just to try to slow the car down a bit more. That's what I mean by engine braking anyway. And I will exit in fourth gear, and I was aiming to be about 100 mile an hour, and I accelerate just after the inside green bollard that you'll see in a second. I'll pause it then. Try to get as close to this green bollard as possible because the grip is on this curb. That's probably where the racing line is, and in fact that is where the racing line is, so there's just more grip there in general. Try to have you basically try to aim to have your right wheels on this right line so that your left wheels is basically on this right line as well, so your tyres are like between the curbs. It just helps you drag around the corner quicker. Like I said, aim to be about 98, 99, 100 mile an hour, and I accelerate about, probably by the end of this orange barrier. It's a perfect throttle point for this corner. Make sure you're within the right lines. If your right wheels is off the right line, even though it touches the curb, it will invalidate your lap time. First sector is a 278. Honestly, an okay S1. I have been a good 700th faster though, but a decent S1, especially for a new track. It's not a bad start to it. Anyway, next corner, this is a 100 marker. I'm braking again about a quarter of a car length after it. I'd say basically halfway between the 100 marker and the end of this curb here. That is the perfect brake marker for this corner, or brake reference I should say. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be braking in a straight line. As soon as I start to see more of an apex, you'll see me start to turn left, but I am going to go for a very late apex just to keep my exit angle more wide so that I can put the power down earlier and basically carry more speed around the corner, and that will carry me all the way on to the straight as well. Try to get onto this apex, but honestly it does not matter if you touch it or not, just as long as you're relatively close to it and carrying the speed. That is what is the most important on this corner. Oh, I'm already on the throttle, as you can see. Keep it 30% throttle because that is when the downforce starts to kick in for this car. So you'll gradually pick up the speed, the car will turn in more, and because you're going past the high initial torque, you'll get less wheel spin as well. I was aiming to be about 50 mile an hour by the time I got to this apex here. Be careful if you go full throttle here. As you can see, I had a little bit of oversteer. So if you get a little bit of oversteer, just be ready to counter steer it and catch it very quickly. Otherwise, you will lose your lap time. Next corner. versus 200 marker versus 150 marker. I'm braking at 170 meters. The best reference I use is I just brake slightly closer to 150 than 200. I don't really have any other references. The more laps you do, the more you'll get into the feel of where you're braking first corner. But I'm braking at 170 meters, making a straight line. And basically, as soon as I get down to first gear, you'll see me turn to the left, and I'm aiming to be about 40 mile an hour on the apex. So I'm going to pause here. So there's two ways you can do it. You can either get as close to this bollard as possible, so similar to turn one in a way. I'm actually going to go to race photos here. You can either aim to have your left wheels right here, as close to this bollard as possible, or without touching this orange part, just on this right part of the curb here. Because if you touch this part of the orange curb, your car will bounce a bit, and it'll bounce so that it just stops steering momentarily, and you'll just end up a bit wide on the first part, which costs you time on the second part of the chicane here. This is where I actually messed up, because I actually touched a big part of the orange curb here, but I did recover it quite well, luckily. I lost probably a tenth here. As you can see, I had a small bounce. Very hard to point out a reference. For more laps, you'll just get better with your turning timing for the second part of the corner. I'd say just before your screen hits this part of the track, where you see the first right part of the curb, I'd say turn in about half a car length before it. And again, same with the first part of the chicane, you could either have your right wheels go as close to the bar as possible, or have your right tires as close to the orange curb as possible without touching it, of course. This corner, I was aiming to be about 50 mile an hour, and I'm going to be exiting in third gear. Get as early on full throttle as possible, because it's quite long straight as well. And in case you haven't realised yet, I am revving at the end of the bar. Next corner, literally the perfect marker for this, 100 meters. I'm braking on it, directly on it. Right here. In fact, I've just gone past it. I'm braking at this point now, though. In fact, I've just started braking. And I downshifted to fourth as soon as I tapped the brakes, just to get more engine braking and slow the car down more. As soon as I tap the brakes as well, I am turning left. Not heavy left, but slowly left. I'm lining it up to have my left wheels touch the inside curb and as close to the board as possible, because it's a little bit of a camber, so you need to be on the inside, on the apex here. I just miss it slightly. And as soon as I go past the first apex, I completely coast this corner. When I say coast, I mean I'm not braking, I'm not on a throttle, until I get down to about 65 mile an hour around halfway through the corner. As soon as I'm halfway around the corner, I'm again going to be about 30% throttle, and I'm going to be exiting in fourth gear. You're going to gradually carry on doing that until you get to the last apex, where you start to put 100% throttle down. You may get a little bit of oversteer, but it's good oversteer because it helps you turn around the corner better / more. And a bit too much oversteer at this particular lap, but it is better, trust me. This part, I'm going to pause it here. This is flat, but I will say right now, do not go as close to this right line as possible, because if you do, it just messes up the line for this next part of the corner. I'd say stay about half a car length off it if possible, and just turn full right. As soon as I get under this like what do you call it? Under this Richard Mill sign, I'll say. About 2 car lengths after it, you'll see me lift and maybe even tap the brakes, and I'm going to be I'm aiming to hit this first part of this right-hander about 130 mile an hour, and I am planning to cut it just to carry more speed through the corner. Because if I was to take it normally with my right wheels not cutting it, I wouldn't be able to carry as much speed doing this first right part of the corner. So this part, aiming to be about 130 mile an hour. I forgot, like I said, I'm braking a bit, 2 car lengths after I went under the Richmond Mill sign. I carry on turning right. By the time you get to this part of the barrier, you want to be about 120 mile an hour. And then at that point on, you could be fully on the brakes for this last part of the right-hander here. Here, you want to be aiming for about 55 mile an hour, and I'm exiting in first gear, so I just felt like the car turned better in first gear. As soon as I top out on first gear, so just before this lamppost here, I'm turning left and I'm just going to be lifting down to about 65 miles an hour here. Use all this curb here just to open up this last part of the corner here. Sometimes if you go a bit too wide here, the car will bounce slightly, which will compromise your entry for this left part. So just be careful that you don't go too wide here. I would recommend trying to have at least 2 tyres off this curb if possible, but use as much of this curb as possible to open up this next part of the corner and to maximise the exit of the previous corner as well. This corner I'm aiming to be about 65 miles an hour, and I'm going to be exiting in third. Again, about 30-40% throttle initially, just because that's where the downforce initially kicks in. So got to pick up the speed. As soon as you feel the grips there, put the throttle down. Had a bit of oversteer, but this second last corner I broke a bit when you start to see this grey track line here. So on this curve, you see this like the racing sort of line, grey mark point. I start to turn in there and I brake there as well, down to about 105 miles an hour. I initially downshift to second just for engine braking, but exit third. Get as close to this barrier as possible if you can. If not, just aim to have your right wheels just inside this curb, just to help track your car around. Use all this outside curb, and I've just missed a braking marker. I apologise, but my last braking reference is I use the beginning of this orange part of this barrier there. That is where I'm braking for this last corner. In bumper cam, as you can see, I'm not braking out at that point. That's just where my car lines up. But in bumper cam, as soon as this part, the end of this barrier, leaves to my screen, that is where I'm braking for this last corner. As soon as I'm braking, I am turning as well, because it's very the corner like starts very early, and it's a very long right-hander sort of. It starts to turn right early, so you need to turn right early, just so that you can hit the last corner apex at the right angle. So I'm braking about here right now. Another way is about a car length for this right line, so for pit entry right line here. I'm braking a car length before it. I'm going to be aiming to be about 61 miles an hour on this last apex. Also, I don't remember if I mentioned, but the apex speed I was carrying the corner before was between 102 and 105 miles an hour. To finish that, third gear, and use all the exit curb, and that is a 147.590. Extremely happy with that lap, honestly. I took a bit over 2 hours to do this lap, to be honest, because I did a 147 relatively quickly, but I wanted to try and maximise my lap time to make a very good first guide on this new track, just so you could learn how I will be attacking this track in the future. But anyway, I hope this has helped, and I hope you enjoyed my detailed lap guide. Any questions on it, leave in the comments below. I will answer the best of my ability as always, and you may be confused on what I'm trying to point out, since this is a new track, so you won't be able to see everything straight away. But without further ado, I'll show you how to get to the event, and 2 ways to see my replay, and how to load a Ghost My lap time. So I'll see you then, and thank you very much. Okay guys, so the first way to see my replay is you can go to showcase in the bottom left of this home section, go to content search, go to replays. Best way to find the replay of my lab is just to type my channel name, / my name, etc. And it is here. It will say TT Marina Space F1, and it will say my lap time for 147.590. So you can view my replay here, and another way and an easier way to see it, to be honest, is and to get to the event is sport mode in the top right, and then you'll be looking for online time trials, which is in the middle of your screen, and it is this one here, Yas Marina Circuit, and it's Space F1. It's got the picture here. Select the car, make sure you've got racing soft tyres. You can just buy it here. When you buy it, equip it here like that, and you can see my replay here as well. At the time of recording, I'm third with a replay, second with a replay shown, and replay here. Good reference app for control users especially as well. And finally, to load a Ghost My lap, make sure you go into the event. So I go to ranking board again, click my name, press load ghost. Then here, go settings. Make sure if you've got my ghost, I would recommend having your personal ghost off and having just my ghost on. And I'd personally have it reset after each sector. I'd probably have it start around 2 to 3 times ahead of you, just so that you can react to my braking points, my turning points, etc. So play around with that. And also, you can save your best lap, and then you can compare your best lap with my lap time here. So for example, you'd have your lap time, and then if you just want to have the data for my lap time with my braking traces, my apex speed, etc., you just click on my name like that. It'll generate the graph, and then here, that is my current lap. Obviously, it's not compared to your lap because I have nothing else selected. But for example, let's say have my second best lap, for example. So now my best lap will be the blue, and my second best lap is a yellow line, and you can see the difference in the lap time. So basically, it's a way to compare what you're doing differently to what I'm doing differently. So that way you can find out where you're losing the most time, where you can even be maybe gaining time, etc. So for example, as you saw with this, my fastest lap that I had, the first sector was a lot quicker than my previous best first sector. But the corner after the first sector, I actually lost a lot of time compared to the ghost lap, my second best lap, which is where, as you can see, I can see there's a few attempts in it. But anyway, that's just a new useful tool that you can use to properly compare where you're losing time compared to me. So without further ado, I hope you enjoyed. Like and sub, I would appreciate it. Huge thanks for recent support on my channel. I've got 1.8k subs now, which is absolutely insane to think of. Like I said, any comments, any questions, sorry, leave in the comments. I'll answer to the best of my ability, and I hope you enjoyed. Good luck, have fun, and see you later. I will probably post, if you want to see, by the way, the circuit experience for Montreal track and the Marina circuit. Leave them in comments as well. I will do them at some point, but I'm firstly going to do the other lap time challenge, which is the Polestar, I think, at Brantatch Indy circuit, I believe. I will make a guide for that tomorrow if I feel like I can do a good lap in it. So, like I said, I hope you enjoyed, and good luck and have fun. See you later, goodbye.